If Logan does beat him, then I need to see Jake Paul versus Israel Adesanya, because
What's up, Barnhill family? Welcome back to the channel.
Yo.
So, Nick, Logan Paul opened up as a betting favorite against Anderson the Spider Silva in a fight that will likely materialize. And my only question to you is, am I missing something here?
No.
Isn't Anderson Silva just the guy that dominated Julio César Chávez Jr., a guy who went all 12 rounds with Canelo Alvarez, a UFC Hall of Famer, a legend in the sport, one of the GOATs? Yeah. And he's boxing a guy who has never won a boxing match, and he's the underdog? Has there ever been a more clear-cut underdog as a sure thing in fight combat sports history?
Yeah, I have a question for you. What kind of world are we living in? It's insane. You know, Anderson Silva is not your Ben Askren type that's going in there to do a celebrity boxing match with a Jake Paul or Logan Paul. Anderson, until Adesanya came around and Conor McGregor, John Jones, he was known as the best striker the UFC had ever seen, and maybe mixed martial arts had ever seen.
Some people say he still holds that title.
Yeah, I mean, when you go out there, I mean, you go watch his last fight when he fought Uriah Hall. He was putting it on Uriah Hall until he got finished, but his striking is ridiculous. The way he was moving as a boxer against Julio César Chávez Jr., it's a mouthful to say, but it was ridiculous. I mean, he moves but way better than Conor moved against Floyd. He looked like a true boxer. He has a wealth of knowledge as far as striking goes, and he can really break down each and every discipline on the feet and do it well. Like, you tell him, I want to see a round of karate. He's going to turn sideways and do it better than almost anybody. You tell him you want to see some Muay Thai style striking. You're going to see it better than just about anybody besides the folks in Thailand. You say you want to see some Western boxing, some Queensberry rules boxing. He clearly showed that he's absolutely capable of doing that too. And not only that, at the highest level. Yeah. Now, you take the guy that he's fighting, that he's an underdog against, Logan Paul. Logan looks like an absolute amateur. He has not won a fight yet. He has not really won a round yet. I think he won a couple of rounds against KSI when they fought, but he lost that fight, and that was against a rapper that was not in any sort of shape. Really neither of them had any business in a boxing ring.
He lost a boxing match against a guy that doesn't box.
Yeah, exactly. And so now he's the betting favorite. I think some people, maybe the Vegas odds makers, are mistaking Logan with Jake, because Jake does actually have some skills. Yeah. And it would be a little bit more understandable if they had Jake fighting Anderson Silva and had Jake as the favorite. I still would think that was egregious, and I would tell people that like to bet on fights to go put money on Anderson Silva, but this is even worse. If you like betting on fights and you want a sure thing, go put as much money as you can right now on Anderson Silva, because these odds are clearly going to they're going to correct themselves. That people are not going to let this slide for too long. All the money, the betting money, is going to go on Silva. Logan Paul is still very much a novice in the sport of boxing. Right. He just did go 8 rounds with the greatest boxer of all time in Floyd Mayweather, or 10 rounds, whatever it was, but he was getting pieced up. He really didn't land any sort of offense that was significant. A couple of things here and there. When you slow them down in slow-mo, they looked a little better than they actually were, but Anderson Silva, his record speaks for itself.
Yeah, absolutely. And he looked like he could have fit Floyd Mayweather in his pocket in that fight. I mean, the size disparity was immense. Yeah. And Floyd Mayweather doesn't only look like a grandfather, he is, in fact, a grandfather. Yeah. And I'm not trying to poke fun at Floyd Mayweather here. I think he's one of the best boxers of all time. Right. But let's get serious. Anderson Silva fought at the 185-pound division. He's an almost 200-pound man. He's got power. He has put people to sleep. I mean, this is a totally different fight.
Same size, too.
Same size, yeah. Julio César Chávez Jr., although he never lived up to his family's expectations, did amass, like, I think a 50-4 or 53-5, whatever, something of like that record in boxing. Like yeah, he's gone all 12 rounds with Canelo Alvarez, something that Billy Joe Saunders was just not able to do. And so I think for anybody to think that Logan Paul can win this fight is just living in make-believe land. I think so. I think that, I mean, listen, the Paul brothers have proven me wrong before. Yeah. I respect what they do. I respect what they're doing. They're drawing a lot of eyes and attention to themselves, and they're making a lot of money for themselves. And I'm not going to sit here and talk badly about that. I'm proud of them. I think that they, even though they're amateur as far as their skills go in boxing, the fact that they're getting in there with they could be doing anything else, right? I mean, these guys have tons of money. They have the ability to make tons of money. They could be doing anything and getting eyes and money. So the fact that they're willing to put a mouthpiece in, take their shirt off, and get in there and box somebody, I respect that.
Yeah.
But at the same time here, I'm not going as far as to say that Logan Paul has got a snowball's chance in hell at beating Anderson Silva in a boxing match. This is going to be an absolute clinic. Anderson's going to pick him apart. He's going to exhaust him, and I think Anderson Silva is going to knock him out.
Yeah, Tyron Woodley is not near the striker that Anderson Silva is, and Logan is not near the striker that Jake Paul is, and everybody's kind of thinking, you know what, Jake Paul bit off more than he can chew with Tyron Woodley here. I don't think this is a good matchup for him. Well, if you think that's the case, then how in the hell do you think Logan's going to go with Anderson Silva? Anderson's, about 195 probably. I assume he'll weigh in right around that area, and he'll look like he's in shape. He's 43 years old, but he still moves like he's in his mid-30s. He moves very well. So I have a question that I would love to get answered, and I understand there is a size discrepancy between Logan and Anderson and Floyd, but Floyd and Anderson are about the same age.
Yeah.
Anderson's like a 1 or 2-0 pro boxer. Floyd's 50-0. They're both in the next 6 months going to have had a boxing match against Logan Paul. I have a strong feeling that Anderson's not only going to beat Logan, but he's going to finish Logan. Does that make Anderson a better boxer than Floyd Mayweather? I know the obvious answer is no to that question, but if Floyd couldn't get him out of there, I tend to believe that Anderson for sure will be able to.
Yeah, I mean, I get the question, and understandably, I guess there could be an argument made for that, but they do have weight classes for a reason, and I think in boxing it's even more pronounced than it is in MMA. Like, for example, TJ Dillashaw and Corey Sandhagen fought last night. If one of them were to fight Logan Paul in MMA, I think they would kick Logan's ass.
Yeah,
the wrestling, the grappling, the just the technical depth of tools that they could pull out would allow them to get the jump on the other opponent. That's what Gracie Jiu-Jitsu and wrestling was all built off of, being able to defend yourself against a larger attacker. Boxing is not that way. Right. Boxing is kind of just blow for blow, and then size makes a huge difference in boxing. Mm-hmm. So I think the advantage is more pronounced in boxing as far as size goes than it is in MMA. But I think, to answer your question, Floyd was not able to overcome, at 44 years old, not able to overcome that size disparity, which was very interesting. And I give Logan credit for making it all 8 rounds, or I think it was 8 rounds that they fought.
Yeah, I think it was 8 or 10. I can't remember.
But Floyd, there was some moments there where I think Floyd could have taken him out, and I think Anderson will seize those moments.
Yeah, and Floyd didn't look like he took that camp very seriously, if at all. I don't think he would even consider what he did for Logan a camp. I think he just trained a few days a week and tried to get as a little bit of a six-pack as you could get visually back in his stomach, because he's been living the grandfather life and flying all over the world, enjoying himself. And so I don't think he's been taking it very seriously, and I think Anderson Silva is taking it very seriously. He's found his new footing. He left with grace, and he left very appropriately from the UFC. But make no mistake about it, he wasn't like a dead horse that just got kicked once or twice more and then thrown out.
Yeah.
He was beating Uriah Hall in his last UFC fight. He just beat one of the best boxers in the world right now, and I understand in the world of boxing, Julio César Chávez Jr. isn't one of the best guys, like top 5, top 10, whatever. But in the grand scheme of the world, Julio César Chávez Jr. is one of the best boxers that's currently alive.
Of everybody that boxes on the planet, Julio César Chávez Jr. is in the top 1% of all of those people. Yeah. So, I mean, he might not be in the top 0.1%, but he is certainly in the top 1%. And listen, Anderson Silva had a great fight against Israel Adesanya.
Yeah.
Adesanya won that fight, but it was an awesome fight. Anderson had his moments.
It went the distance.
Yeah, so to think that that Logan's going to do something that Israel Adesanya couldn't do, I think would truly be living in La La Land.
Yeah, and if Logan does beat him, then I need to see Jake Paul versus Israel Adesanya, because if Logan with his lack of skills can beat Anderson with his ridiculous skills, then Jake, who's a little better than Logan, and Israel, who's a little bit better and fresher than Anderson, I think that's the fight to make. This is just a ridiculous world. I can't believe that the Paul brothers are two of the hottest tickets in all of combat, not just combat sports, in all of sports, but that's the reality, and they've earned it because they're working really hard. They've decided to take the toughest route in all of sports, which is fighting. Unarmed combat is so difficult. They deserve some praise. They're bringing new eyes to the show. They're bringing a lot of new fans, a lot of new people into boxing. And even though they're polarizing figures that like to get under people's skins and do childish pranks, they're definitely moving the needle as far as the sport's concerned.
Yeah, that's for sure. And I'm excited for the fight.
Me too.
Well, guys, drop us a comment. Anybody picking Logan out there, let us know. We won't rag you in the comments, we promise. But we want to know, what do you guys think about this fight? Nick and I both think this is not very competitive. Anderson's going to walk through him. But if you have a differing opinion, we'd love to hear it. And as always, a like, comment, and subscribe if you've enjoyed the content helps us out tremendously. And if you listen to audio podcasts, check us out there as well. Until the next video, guys, have a great day.
Peace.